ladies and gentlemen, it is February 5th, 2019, and this is FAWMtalk. Applause?
Yeah!
There you go. I'm, of course, Juha, and with me, as always, my trusty, I want to say sidekick, but maybe let's go with co-host TC Elliott. How you doing, man?
I am doing very well today. I am having a good day. I'm enjoying FAWM a lot. So it's a good month so far. How are you doing?
I'm alright. I haven't done much music, but I I made subs. So because Subway doesn't make meatball subs anymore, so I just spent 5 hours making meatball subs, and
Sounds delicious.
it was surprisingly so, because typically when I make something new, it's like horrible. Then it makes it second time. Then it's like, well, okay, this is pretty decent. Then you make the third time, and it starts to get like kind of good. But it was immediately kind of good. So I don't know what went wrong.
It's kind of hard to mess up meatballs.
Well, you got a point there. All right, let's go to some music. We got a cool little track here by somebody new, I guess. Lunch with Ghosts. Sounds kind of dangerous. But this one is called simply FAWM Track 1. FAWM Track 1 by Lunch with Ghosts. One's got a bit of a hip-hop beat to it.
Yeah. That little bit of an unusual rhythm. I really liked after that crescendo, that drum, quick beat going in there, that sound that came in right after that, that just kind of opened up. I really liked that part. That caught my attention.
Yeah, I mean, the beat kind of caught my attention. It's really driving the piece forward, and like the music was almost opening like one of those fast forward videos of like flowers. It's just weird sort of movement going to it, and I guess I've heard a lot of that sort of stuff in dub music and hip hop music, but it's always cool when people can just like nail it, and you get those sounds like opening right at the correct moment.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know enough to compare it to other things, but something about that one caught my attention, and what you said sounds good, so I'll go with that.
All right.
Oh, sweet.
Well, you have been doing music, I've been making subs, but I haven't been making music. I'm kind of in the middle of the starting process. So we discussed a lot about this yesterday, because we're trying to figure out how to make the most of FAWM, and I'm still kind of not sure what to do. How do you typically find inspiration, or what do you use as prompts? I mean, a lot of people you have some sort of sites or challenges that give you prompts, but then other people just use their own life experiences as prompts. But how do you turn them into songs?
So there's two questions there. One is, where do you get your prompts or your ideas or themes that you're going to write about? And then the second one is, how do you turn them into songs? And so the first question is, where do you get them? I actually do on Facebook and Twitter. There's an almost daily writing prompt page that I update almost daily. So if I get, like, I've done it twice this year where I've started a song, or I have music and a musical idea, and I'll just go look at the prompts until one of those kind of catches my eye and gets me going lyrically, and then that gets me on the creation process, and from there I can usually start. Or if I'm looking for, there's been a couple times where I've started writing and then it comes to the chorus and I don't have a title, so I've already written a verse, which is a little backwards from the way a lot of people do it. If you're like, where's this going to go? And so I'll look at the prompts. I'm like, oh, that's an awesome, that really fits what I've been doing, or it's a little different angle of what I've just written, and then I'll go that way. So I tend to write a lot of things down in a notebook, ideas. When we're in the chat, in the Slack chat, I'll if somebody says something, I'll write it down. Sometimes a phrase or half a line out of a song. So I did a song the day before yesterday, I think, and the first line of the chorus was, I caught a glimpse of the edge of the moon, and that came directly from another FAWM song that was talking about the edge of the sun and the moon, and it was a completely different context, but that's kind of, that idea kind of went a new direction. So getting those prompts it's like, I've been there where, like, I've written love and breakup songs, I don't know how many times, and I'll write more, it's fine, but I've done that. And so how do you get another angle at it, or do you have a phrase that can give you a different spin on it, or give you a new idea, or is there something you can do?
It's difficult, because I often feel like I should be writing more about relationships and breakups and love songs and that sort of stuff, but that's just not my life. I've been happily in a relationship with 2019, so it's 14 years, and that's like my first one. So I don't really know that side of the argument. So I've heard enough love songs so I can fake it, but it's somehow I feel like it's the more popular songs, or the songs that really resonate with people, are the ones that really convey something about the artist. And even if they're not, I was watching some interviews from Quentin Tarantino, and he was talking about this, whereas you need to bring something from your own life to your work, because otherwise, what are you doing as an artist? You're not trying to give anything of yourself to the listener or the viewer or whatever. You're just like making something to pass the time. So I think it's a good point. But
Yeah.
it's so difficult for me to find something that I want to write about, because oftentimes I find that a lot of the songs are about some sort of conflict, and I don't have that much conflict in my life. I mean, I live in Finland, so it's like you come here and it's like the conflict-free zone starts here. Well, I'm exaggerating, but still, it's very much like it's as close to some sort of utopia as you can get on this earth at this time. And I'm pretty content with my life, and so it's hard to find some sort of topic for the songs. I feel like I'm just wasting everyone's time when I'm writing about dragons, and I don't know. I haven't ever written a song about a dragon. In that vein, like just making up stories and they don't make any sense to me. They are just stories about nothing, essentially.
Yeah. I think not writing about love songs and breakups and stuff is actually probably a strength for the most part. It's not. I mean, I think we've listened to music that's about breaking up or wishing we hadn't broken up or trying not to break up or whatever, getting together, love, being happy. And there's a place for that. I still do that. I'm still going to write those songs. But, they are definitely a million songs out there. Half the songs that I hear are something to do with that. So if you can find something a little bit more unique, I think that gives you a good starting point. Mm-hmm. I like so conflict, you mentioned conflict, like in drama, that's what it is. There has to be some sort of conflict to maintain the listeners or the audience. And in writing novels, it's, there has to be some sort of conflict and resolution in order to have a satisfactory drama, a good arc. And I don't see how that's not necessarily the same in songwriting, just to a lesser degree.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually a very good way of going about trying to find a topic, is looking at it from what's the conflict, what can I write about this, what's a unique take or a different take on that. One of the things I love about the skirmishes is you get a prompt or a title, is trying to get something that fits the prompt or the title, that it's a different angle that nobody else would write about. And it could be silly, it could be, it could be very heavy emotionally or very light emotionally. It could be anything, and I don't do as much skirmishing as I used to. But that's what I loved about him, is like, okay, what is something nobody else is going to take this in a new direction? Mm. And I think for me, that gives me a way of making it interesting. Even when I'm done, if it's not the best song, at least I've explored something, or it might give me the idea for the next song. Okay, I want to write about the same thing, but I want to do it this way. I want to make the song better, or I want to set it up better. So having a new angle, or a different, having a phrase that you've had every day and then writing a different angle to get there, how you can kind of twist it. To me, that's a very satisfactory way of going about songwriting.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's sort of difficult because I kind of also want to make something that could possibly, I mean, this is a little bit of a naive thought, but I want to make something that could possibly have some sort of effect on a lot of people. So I kind of want to make something that is popular, that people do want to listen to. So in that sense, I'm trying to think about something that could maybe be something that would resonate with a lot of people. And
yeah,
that's historically that's been love songs.
Yeah,
I guess that could be something else, but what, protest songs? Like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to make the distinction, but I think I found it very fulfilling when, instead of having a lot of people like a song, having a couple of people like the song a lot. So making that connection, but trying to find the individual connection. So as an example, John Staples of FAWM fame did a cover of my song "Sitting in the Rain." He said he liked it so much he had to do a version of it, and his version's a little more rootsy or Americana. It's got that rural sound to it, his sound, which is pretty distinctive, and I loved it. I think it, in a way, his recording's better than mine. But that was a bigger compliment, even though that song isn't. I like the song a lot. I think it's a good song, but that out of the 13 or 14 songs that I put that with, that's not one that gets the most comments by any stretch. So, but it means a lot that he felt strongly enough about it that not only did he tell me that it meant something to him, then eventually in 5090 or actually in October right after 5090, he did a version of that song. I was like, dude, that was awesome. I mean, I couldn't have found a better compliment, but it was one or two people that really said, I really like that song. Or even in FAWM or in Spin Tunes and these challenges where I've written a song about like agoraphobia, and it's not the best song, but it's a good song. And somebody was like, I've really struggled with this for years, and the way you said it really relates it better than I've ever seen it related before. And that was like, how can you beat that? Now, a lot of people won't relate to it, like, it doesn't mean they won't like the song, but it's not going to be that important to them. But because of that one or two connections, that was, for me, it was more fulfilling. Now, I would love to have a paycheck for somebody having a pop hit with something I've written, but I'm not saying that I wouldn't like a lot of people to like my songs. That's not what I'm saying. But I think if you can find the connection, a lot of times we don't, because you put it out there, it's either on Bandcamp or Spotify, and you get a few listens, but you don't know if they liked it or if they didn't like it, and you lose that connection. But if you can find those connections and see where people actually liked it, that is a way to be fulfilled.
Yeah. Do you think it's because I feel a lot like I get that side of the argument, but at the same time I feel like, well, if I could make a song and just have that reaction times 1,000. So if that happened, then I probably could be I probably could secure some sort of financial gain out of that as well, and then I would have, like, people would really hey, what's going on? There would be a lot of people who would enjoy the song, but at the same time, I could also, like, live off of my labor.
I guess that's, for me, that's two separate goals. So for one is, if say 100 people have listened to my song, let's just say 100 people, and I get 2 or 3 people that have complimented me, and in FAWM it's a little weird because people listen and they're more likely to comment. But if it's out like on Bandcamp, or if you're doing something and somebody says, hey, I enjoyed that, they're going out of their normal routine and telling you that's good. To me, that's a pretty much successful song, in the sense that somebody, 2 or 3 people took the time to tell you, and there's probably a lot more than that thought it was okay. And of course, there's always going to be a segment that doesn't like it, and that's perfectly fine. That doesn't mean that you're a bad artist or your song's bad. It means they didn't like it. No big deal. And if my audience reach was 1 million people, right, and I still had 3% of a connection, I mean, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
And if you go, so I guess part of it is just
marketing.
Yeah, I mean, it's marketing, and then the other side of that is to make money off the music. On top of that is making those connections where somebody wants to either support you through Patreon or wants to buy your stuff when you put it out there. And it's kind of goes back to that whole long tail theory, or having, 1,000 true fans which 3 or 4 years ago was the big thing. If you can get 1,000 fans that are true fans, that are really, it's not that they like your music, but they're really fans, then they're going to buy your stuff, and you can cater stuff just to them, and you can make a living off of music. So you don't have to have tens of thousands of people liking it a little bit or buying it just because. And all of those paths, I think all those paths can be good or combined or separate or whatever. And I don't think there's one way of doing it. But me, the making money aspect can be completely separated from the appreciation aspect. But on the other hand, if you're going to spend that much time making music, in order to do that, you have to be able to sustain it, and having people pay for it or support you on Patreon or whatever is one of the ways to do that.
Yeah. Well, talking about audience, that's also one of the things I wanted to touch on regarding the Tarantino interviews I watched. And he was talking about, like, people ask him, does he write movies for an audience? And there's like, his answer is always, yes, of course I'm writing my movies for an audience, but the audience is himself. So in that sense, you're writing to somebody who has to like your movie, but if that somebody is you, then you can try to figure out what the thing is that you like and what you want the movie or the song, in this case, to be. So that kind of helped me a little bit. So I've been trying to think from that perspective, like what kind of music would I really like to listen to? If there was like one album or one EP on Spotify that I would like to listen to all the time, what would it be about, or would it be like? What kind of music would that product be?
Yeah.
So that can be a helpful way to figure it out.
Yeah. I've kind of had a little bit of a thought process on that in the past as well. So I enjoy a lot of the music I've been writing lately has been acoustic based, but it has a little bit of electric guitars, bass, drums, but it's really an easier feel to it. It's not a very hard feel. And I enjoy that music, and some of it's really good. And one of the reasons I like that is I can take that with an acoustic guitar and play to a few people in the living room or at the library, or I could have a band play, and it's really versatile. It's good songwriting, so it really focuses on the song. So if I have poor lyrics, it really comes out then. But the stuff I did that was more rock, that started a couple of years, about 3 years ago, kind of a hard rock stuff, I really, when I listen to that, I enjoy that a lot more, even though I don't write near as much of it. So,
yeah,
it's an interesting, writing to an audience is both, I guess it could be a trap in a way, because if you're just writing to get as many people to like it as possible, then you're going to start going into...
That's not really what I was like going for. It's more about writing. If you are the audience that you're writing to, then you know what you like, and you can write to shoot the songs to your taste. So I think that's got to be helpful.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with that 100%. But earlier when you were like, I would like it to be popular, I want to write something that's popular.
Yeah.
I mean, I want that too. But on the other hand, where's the balance? Where's the balance between, okay, I'm going to make a decision in this song based on popularity, on making it accessible, which I think is valid. I don't think that that's selling out your art. I don't think that's a negative. But I definitely think that it starts getting close to that boundary to where you're just making decisions to be popular, and maybe your audience no longer is yourself. And I think that's valid. I think that's fine. But but that's kind of the way to stay happy without a lot of sales or a lot of people having that feedback, is to write something that you enjoy.
Yeah.
The way to be the way you can be fulfilled by having a lot of people like it is to write for a different audience. Well, maybe this isn't my favorite song, but I think more people will like this, and that's perfectly acceptable. I think if you do all that type of music, it might burn you out. But
All right. Well,
there's no, yeah.
maybe we should pick this up again after a song here. So people seem to have some trouble connecting to the live stream. So let's go to a song, and I'm gonna see if I can figure it out. If not, well then there's just gonna have to watch the replay. But let's see what we can do. So this one is by a FAWM veteran called Sapient, and the song is called Resonance. Resonance by Sapient. And it seems that there's no other option except to turn off the stream and make another one, because I'm gonna blame this on YouTube. Everything has been good so far, and I haven't changed anything. So now we're just getting like blanks here. So what can do except stop the stream, and we'll make another one and throw the link around somewhere. So let's try that one. So we'll be back in a few minutes.
All right.